wanted to talk about in this video today is the sort of hidden move that doesn't get discussed in the golf swing. And it's, if you like, the sort of tiny gel that brings everything together. And it's a thing that I work a lot with my students, both online and face-to-face. And it's an area that we talk about in the golf swing, but we're going to go into it in a little bit more detail today. So we know there are things that we have to do in the golf swing. And from a face-on perspective, okay, when we're hitting the golf ball, we know that we need to shift towards your lead hand side. We need to rotate, so we rotate the body out of the way, and we need to try and find a way to get the arms swinging through the ball as well. So that's one half of it. We also know from the side-on perspective that you kind of want to keep your arms moving to the side of your body, so to speak. And the reason for this is this helps us keep the golf club on plane, okay? So like so, as we come down, working the club up and down the plane line helps us hit straight shots. So the reason why golf is so difficult is because you're trying to get the composition of moving and rotating whilst also simultaneously keeping the club on plane. And this plays havoc for amateurs. Now, just to paint a picture, you're going to most likely fall into one of two categories. So you're most likely going to be the kind of golfer that can keep the club on plane, moving up and down like this, but you probably struggle with rotation. And what this means is you probably swing back and you bring your arms down, but because there's no rotational motion, you end up sort of casting the club and getting a little bit too flicky, too scoopy coming in towards the impact area. I certainly know that's true for a lot of people that, again, I meet. Or you're the kind of golfer that knows that you're supposed to rotate in the golf swing, but you fall more vulnerable of getting either quite spinny, okay, which means a bit this way. This is where the hands get a bit too far in front of the body and the club face gets a little open and you get a bit stuck, or over the top. So the question really is, well, how on earth do you put those movements together, and how do you get the best, case scenario of, rotating whilst also simultaneously keeping the club on plane? And it's sequence. Now, I'm going to use a rope. Now, the rope here is about the thickness and diameter of a golf club, slightly thicker, and it's about 1.5 feet in length. And if you're going to do so, you just got to be careful that if you're going to do this type of exercise, that you don't allow the rope to become too big, because it will sort of wrap around and give you a smack in the teeth, which wouldn't be fun. If you don't choose to do the rope, your other alternative after today's lesson, we talked about this last week, is to turn the club upside down, because it takes the weight out of the club. And you can equally do this, but I prefer this rope, and you'll see why. So first of all, what you would do, and this is what I get a lot of my students to do, is I would say, right, I just want you to do some swings where you're basically just feeling that your chest moves towards the target, and that chest is what propels your arm through. So you do a few swings like this, okay? And this will feel really liberating. So it's chest, then arms, and that would be the internal dialogue. Chest, then arms. Now, as I'm doing this, I'd also say to the students, just be careful, because it's easy with this drill to get a bit limp instead of turn. So you want to turn, through, turn, through. And what you then start to suggest, or I start to suggest to golfers, is when the rope hits you on the back, start the downswing. And what this starts to do, just to clarify, and I'll come back to that in a moment because it gets a little bit more advanced, but what this exercise starts to do is when you get that feeling of it hits you on the back and then turn, what you're doing is you are turning your chest into your arm. So that means as I'm swinging back, before I get to the top of my backswing, I'm turning my chest into my arm. So my arms get kind of, if you like, closer to my chest in that sort of early downswing. And what that does, you see, is that means all of a sudden, because I'm turning my chest as I'm swinging back, you can kind of see the way that I can rotate and keep my arms close. If you're the kind of golfer who swings back and then rotates, that's why your hands would fall out in front of you. So that means instead of doing the drill like so, you're sort of doing it like this. Yeah, and that's why you'll struggle keeping your hands close to your body. So you would do that. Go back to this one for a moment. You would do this type of exercise, so turn, chest then hands, chest then hands, and I get golfers to send me swings and, have a go at that. And that will be quite a liberating feel. The way you take it to the next level is you should start to anticipate when the rope's going to hit you on the back. So there it is. There it is. Okay, caught me on the back. There we go. So see the way that I'm just able to anticipate it, and I'm going before it hits me on the back. And what this does is this changes everything about your golf swing then. Because all of a sudden, if you're a golfer who goes too far back, too long, arms get too close, that will go, because you'll learn that you're supposed to be moving towards the target as you're still swinging back up. But as I said, practicing this drill, practicing this move is the glue. It's the sort of secret hidden glue that gives you this ability to rotate whilst keeping your arms nice and close towards your body. So I'd certainly suggest having a go. Get yourself, either turn the club upside down, get yourself a bit of rope. It gives you that feeling of how to rotate, turn your chest into your arm so it stays nice and connected. And it'll give you the ability to swing through, but also keep the club on play. See you guys again soon.